A cosmic beginning. Before there was sunlight, before there was earth, there was silence. An eternal stillness stretched across the Milky Way, a canvas of dust and invisible gas, drifting without shape or purpose. Yet within this silence lay the potential for everything: the warmth of suns, the swirl of planets, the breath of life itself. More than 4.6 billion years ago, a giant molecular cloud wandered through one arm of the galaxy, a veil of hydrogen and helium left behind by ancient stars that had died in spectacular bursts. Those supernovae had seeded the void with the heavier elements: carbon, oxygen, silicon, iron, the building blocks of worlds yet unborn. And then something stirred. Perhaps it was the shockwave of another dying star that rippled through space, or perhaps the weight of time itself caused the nebula to collapse under its own gravity. Whatever the trigger, motion was born out of stillness. The gas began to contract, swirl, and flatten, like a dancer forming from smoke. In the heart of that spiral, matter fell inward, faster, hotter, brighter. A single point glowed within the dark, gathering mass and momentum. The universe was preparing for a birth, the birth of the sun. As gravity tightened its grip, the temperature at the core of the collapsing cloud climbed to millions of degrees. Hydrogen atoms were pressed so tightly together that they fused into helium, releasing light and heat that pushed back against the darkness. And in that instant, a star was born. Our sun. Its first light pierced the cosmic dust like dawn breaking over a world that did not yet exist. Waves of energy surged outward, igniting the disk of gas and dust that surrounded it. This spinning halo, the solar nebula, became a cosmic nursery. The newborn sun was not gentle. It flared and raged with the temper of youth, sending fierce solar winds that scoured the inner reaches of its domain. Yet even as it raged, the dust within the swirling disk began to cling together. Microscopic grains of rock and metal met, stuck, and grew. Static electricity, gravity, and chance sculpted chaos into order. Pebbles became boulders. Boulders became mountains drifting through the void. The dance of collisions had begun, the slow construction of worlds, the making of planets. From the ashes of the nebula rose the first planetesimals, wandering stones the size of cities, colliding and merging in the endless twilight. Over millions of years, these stones gathered into larger bodies, protoplanets, each a world in the making. Closer to the sun, where heat was merciless, only metals and silicates could survive. Here the rocky planets began to form. Mercury, small and scorched, Venus veiled in heat, Earth balanced in the golden zone, and Mars cold and waiting. Farther away, where sunlight was faint and the cold preserved ices, the giants took shape. Jupiter gathered mass with unstoppable hunger, pulling gas and dust into its immense gravity until it became a world so large it could have swallowed all others and still hungered for more. Saturn followed, graceful and pale, its rings forming from ice and rock. Beyond them, Uranus and Neptune, blue giants of frozen winds and secrets, whispered on the edge of creation. Between these worlds remained the leftovers, fragments of rock and ice that never found a home. These would become the asteroid belt, the comets, the silent witnesses of creation. The solar system was young, wild, and full of motion, a place of collisions and fire where every impact rewrote the map of the heavens, the violent youth of the solar system. The birth of the planets was not peaceful. For hundreds of millions of years, the solar system was a battlefield. Protoplanets smashed together with the force of billions of nuclear explosions. Their molten surfaces boiled and broke, fusing into new worlds or shattering into dust. Asteroids rained like cosmic hailstones. Comets streaked across the darkness, leaving trails of ice and fire. Among these newborn worlds, one began to stand out, a blue-gray sphere forming at just the right distance from the sun. Neither too hot nor too cold, it slowly gathered mass, layer upon layer, until its gravity pulled it into a nearly perfect sphere. Its name would one day be Earth. But Earth's beginnings were brutal. Its surface glowed with magma oceans. Its air was poison. Asteroids struck endlessly, each one shaking the planet to its core. The Earth was alive, not with life, but with fire. And then came a collision that would change everything. The birth of the Moon. A wandering body roughly the size of Mars, Theia, drifted into Earth's path. When they met, the impact was apocalyptic. Theia struck the young Earth with unimaginable force, melting both worlds. Mountains of vaporized rock erupted into space. The sky burned brighter than 1,000 suns. For months, perhaps years, molten debris orbited the planet like a glowing halo. Slowly, that ring of fire began to gather and cool, clumping together until it formed a single companion, the Moon. The Moon's birth reshaped Earth forever. It steadied our planet's tilt, giving us the rhythm of seasons. It tamed our rotation, lengthening the days. Its gravitational pull stirred the tides, the future heartbeat of oceans not yet born. The Earth, once alone, now had a partner, a silent guardian glowing in the night sky. Oceans from the sky. The violence began to calm. Volcanic eruptions still tore through the surface, but a new transformation had begun deep within the atmosphere. For millions of years, volcanoes had spewed gases into the air: water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, nitrogen. The sky was thick, red, and suffocating, but it held the ingredients for change. As the planet cooled, the water vapor condensed. Clouds gathered, dark, endless, and heavy with promise, and then it began to rain. It rained for thousands, perhaps millions of years. Lightning flashed across the heavens. Thunder rolled through the airless silence. Droplets hissed as they struck the burning rock, turning instantly to steam. But slowly, steadily, the planet cooled. The rain no longer vanished. It began to pool in the low places, filling basins and cracks, carving rivers into the solidifying crust. The first oceans were born. They were not blue yet. They shimmered in rust and minerals, hot and briny, under skies that glowed orange with volcanic haze. But they were oceans nonetheless, vast, restless, and alive with chemical energy. From a world of fire came a world of water. The Great Cooling. As oceans spread, they became the planet's mirror, reflecting the dim light of the young sun. Water absorbed carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, cooling the planet further. The once thick greenhouse gases thinned, allowing sunlight to reach the surface in golden shafts. Volcanoes still rumbled, reshaping continents. Islands rose and fell, but the cycle of rain and evaporation had begun, the planet's first breath. Steam rose, clouds formed, rain fell again. Earth had entered its rhythm, its heartbeat of weather. Beneath the waves, heat from volcanic vents mixed with minerals to create a brew of chemicals, a cauldron rich with potential. In these depths, the first whispers of life began to stir, though the world did not yet know it. The planet that had once glowed red now shone blue. The sky cleared, the oceans danced, the earth had transformed. The first signs of life. Silence ruled the new world, but it was not empty. In the dark depths of the ocean, near fissures that belched heat and minerals, chemistry began to awaken. Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen swirled together, forming simple organic molecules. Lightning and sunlight added energy, sparking reactions that stitched atoms into more complex forms: amino acids, sugars, lipids. Within the warmth of the seas, these molecules gathered into droplets, forming delicate bubbles of possibility. And then, somewhere in that vast ocean, one of these fragile bubbles did something miraculous. It copied itself. It learned to divide, to survive, to persist. The first cell had been born. It was simple. No nucleus, no organs, only a thin membrane and a spark of chemistry, but it was alive. It could eat, grow, and reproduce. In that tiny act of persistence, the universe changed forever. Life had begun. The world breathes. For countless ages, these early cells multiplied in the oceans. Some found energy in heat and chemicals. Others learned a new trick: photosynthesis. By capturing sunlight, they created food from air and water, releasing oxygen as waste. Slowly, invisibly, the atmosphere began to change. The poisonous sky cleared, replaced by the first whispers of breathable air. The oceans shimmered under blue light, and the world began to hum with activity unseen. Life was still microscopic, but it was relentless. It adapted, evolved, and filled every corner of the sea. From this humble beginning, all plants, animals, and humans would one day arise. The earth was no longer a world of silence. It had found its voice, a living solar system. While life thrived on Earth, the rest of the solar system settled into quiet majesty. Jupiter's storms raged in eternal whorls. Saturn's rings glittered like cosmic jewelry. Uranus rolled sideways through the dark, and Neptune sang with winds faster than sound. Beyond them, comets drifted through the frozen Kuiper Belt, carrying the ancient ices of creation, the same materials that had once seeded Earth's oceans. Every planet, every moon, every speck of dust still followed the rhythm set long ago by the newborn sun. The solar system was alive, not in the way of creatures, but in motion, gravity, and light. Epilogue. From fire to life. From the stillness of a nebula came the brilliance of a star. From the fire of creation came the blue calm of oceans. From chaos came order, and from dust came life. Every atom in our bodies was forged in those early stars, born from their deaths, carried through the nebula that became our sun. We are made of ancient light, of cosmic dust that learned to breathe. When we gaze up at the night sky, we are not looking into distance, but into memory, the memory of our own creation. The sun, the moon, the earth, and the whispering stars above are not strangers. They are family, bound by gravity and time. The birth of the solar system is not just the story of planets and stars. It is the story of us, for we are the universe made aware of itself, stardust that has opened its eyes to wonder. And the journey that began in darkness continues still, written in every dawn.